Alright, so for the intro on this one, I thought we should come in black leather. Really tight leather. But he said no. I don't think we got into the movie and you're already talking.
I know, because...
Let's go. What did you think about it?
If she wasn't in the movie, I definitely wouldn't have watched it.
Well, 100%, because she's the only thing that still ties it to the rest of the movies.
I thought, okay, for the movie, I thought they were going to add the Michael Corvinus character.
Yeah,
and he was going to be somebody else.
And I also thought they were going to add a bunch of other things from the other movies. Didn't do that.
And what are these things you thought?
Well, seeing as the last one in this series, which is actually technically the second movie, not to confuse everybody, ended with her being able to walk in the daylight, kind of like Blade.
Oh, but she was in the daylight a few times.
Yes, at the very end of this movie, and they kind of write it off. Yeah, okay, let's go off on the story before we go any further, because obviously people want to know.
There's vampires, there's werewolves.
That's how it's always been.
But
until now.
It starts, so the humans, they figure out that they find out there's vampires and werewolves, or at least there's all of a sudden this hysterica. Like the witch hunt, right? You pretty much would kill
Exactly. The witch hunt, or, World War II, before that started. Either way, what I'm trying to say here is the montage that explains that in the first 50 minutes movie, that to me seemed like a much better movie, or an idea for a movie, than what actually came out of this movie. That's another thing. The preview, it doesn't actually tell you anything. That's just the montage leading up to the movie, so don't even bother. If you're going to the movie because of the preview, you're spoiling yourself, because that's just 15 minutes. Like, okay, you explained the montage, but let's explain the story of the actual movie.
So they get put in cryo freezing. It starts out after the montage.
Mm-hmm.
She's frozen, she gets unfrozen, and she's got to figure out who unfreezes her, and they find this kid.
Not Michael Corvinus, but a kid. So let's replace him for a kid that I don't like.
You got to think there's a logical progression of, with all this.
That's one I really dislike when it comes to movies, when they have to make another one.
Where did you think they'd go? Where did you think they'd go?
Well, I thought there would be an epic conclusion at the end. I need an ending. I don't like to see Saw 20 or The Next Land Before Time. But they didn't have to do that. They had a perfectly good story going. But I feel there's a rule involved here. I know you're going to disagree with it, no matter what I say, but there's a rule. If the movies based off a book have as many movies as the book, Harry Potter, for example, perfect. Now, Twilight, yeah, no, not cool. Not cool. Breaking it up, not cool. So why do we need to see Land Before Time 75? Like, what? Why are we trying to break this record?
Like
if you have something that's this long, it deserves to be a TV show. Because that means you couldn't thrill me in 2 hours.
I guarantee you the average viewer enjoyed the movie.
I doubt that, though.
When you see rotten potatoes... rotten potatoes. They're not the people who review movies, but they're just really nasty. ROTTENPOTATOES. Rotten potatoes.
A little extra I on that. Alright, CGI. What did you think of that?
I thought it was decent. Not as bad as something like The Expendables.
The CGI was horrible. If you looked at the CGI of the other movies, they put budget into their werewolf. They didn't make it look like a wolf face and a lizard body that's scrawny. They had to throw in a line in the movie to say, oh, they're level 1 werewolves, which means what? They're starving? The fact that it took Celine, or whatever her name is, Kate Beckinsale, it took her an entire movie in the original to take off one werewolf at the age of what, 200, 500, something like that. There's a new vampire in this movie. I won't spoil much more, but I want to say he's about 12 years old according to vampire standards, and he manages to kill off about 1,000 werewolves in the run of this movie, which does not tie itself together whatsoever with the rest of the series. And he lived in a cult which was like a peace cult, which didn't even fight anything. Ruined.
Hey, I was busy throwing pens at these retards. And you know who you are. Put those damn phones away. I will smack the shit out of you. Serious. I'm sick and tired of...
Fine. We disagree on this movie, but we high five on the hitting the retards. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I threw a penlet at the guy's face.
That's for all you other people out there that feel the same way for us. So it's time for the rating. I guess you guys have been waiting for this. You can expect what each one of us are going to give this one. But let's do it anyway. I'm giving this one a 1.5 out of 5 tight leathers. The action was okay. I'll be admitting.
So I'm going to give it 5. I'll give it 3.5.
5 out of 10 tight leathers, because that's what's memorable in this movie.
Even though I love it, I'm just trying
to be... On to the next review.
I'm just trying to be responsible reviewers.